What's up, my sneaky friends? Sativ here once more with an informational video for you all. I've been kind of overloaded with ideas since I haven't made too many informational videos lately, and I've got all kinds of crazy things jumbled up in my head, so I asked for help from you guys. And, you guys were voting on the last couple videos, and majority of people felt like a control guide is what they wanted to see. So, without further ado, I present to you, my friends, the control guide. Control is one of the most important aspects of an arena match. A lot of times, players are just randomly throwing CC at their enemies, which is very ineffective. Every CC you land should be done for a reason, to relieve pressure, or layered with damage from a re-stealth or shadow dance. You always need to be focused on controlling your enemies, so they can't overwhelm you with damage or have time to control you themselves. Controlling your enemies forces them to play around your actions. When you are effectively controlling and following up that CC with damage, your enemies fall behind in defensive cooldowns and find themselves in very bad situations. So now we're going to talk a little bit about what it means to effectively CC. I've been tossing that term around a little bit in this video already, so let's go over a few of the major guidelines for effectively crowd controlling. One of the most important things, and the first thing we're going to talk about, is Diminishing Returns. Now, Diminishing Returns is a system set in place to keep crowd control and stuns from becoming too overpowered. Every time you land a similar type of crowd control effect, it becomes diminished. The Hunter and Paladin were both on Fear DRs. We're making a switch to the Paladin here, and I try to blind the Hunter to get him off us while we swap. This was a huge mistake, because the blind only lasted 2 seconds, which is a complete and total waste of blind. This next one is not only important when dealing with crowd control, but is also extremely important in all aspects of your arena gameplay. Communication is the one thing that separates good teams from the bad teams a lot of the times. A lot of good teams are making really smooth plays, crowd controlling seamlessly, cross-CCing the entire team, and pretty much just manhandle you. But the one thing that allows them to play so efficiently is they're consistently communicating with one another as to what they plan on doing and what sort of crowd control they have out of one another's actions. So, communicating with your team efficiently, calling out what you plan on doing next, and following up out of other CCs that your teammates have done will bring you well on your way to efficiently crowd controlling. Another thing that you need to be really mindful of is diminishing returns, because as we've seen in that other clip, wasting your blind or vanishing to get a 2-second sap is a complete waste of cooldowns. Next is cross CC. What cross CC means is controlling 2 of your enemies and opening another, so that nobody can dispel, peel, or heal. By doing so in the opener, you have complete control over the start of the arena match. Some teams, like Thug or RMP, have such deadly openers that people are often forced to use cooldowns to compensate for the damage you're able to freely put out while cross CCing, which puts you extremely far ahead in the game. Now that we know how to effectively CC, we can look at some examples of times that we should be crowd controlling. When you want to get pressure out. If you're lining up a huge burst on someone, it's extremely important to back that burst damage up with crowd control on a healer. Cooldowns dumped into a target being spam healed are cooldowns wasted. When you need to recover, sometimes things aren't going your way. You can coordinate CC to let your healer pick you guys back up, then follow up that CC for an offensive switch. Shutting down offensive cooldowns. Tossing a blind onto a warrior or a rep paladin during their cooldowns is a surefire way to get their trinket. After they trinket, you can hit them with a full CC of another source from your teammate or a cheap shot. That's a pretty simple way to shut down some classes that are really dependent on their bursty cooldowns. Switches. When making a switch, it's extremely important to ensure you're CCing the other teammates. For example, landing a double fear while you cheap shot a shaman means he's on his own for the switch. Since he can't tremor or dispel his teammates, they are forced to either trinket or watch their shaman take full damage. So in short, good control is awareness of diminishing returns and good communication, watching your enemies, their positioning and their cooldown usage, and most importantly, always aim to cross CC and cover your damage cooldowns with CC so that your cooldowns aren't wasted and your damage isn't done in vain. I hope you found this video helpful. In our next video, I think I'll talk about cooldown usage and the rogue mentality. This guide will be done from a subtlety point of view and will be mostly focused on arena gameplay. Until next time, my friends, I'm Sativ. I'll catch you next time, but until then, stay sneaky.